You've always felt something was different about you, something unexplainable that made you feel both out of place and yet divinely in tune. The world around you often appeared shallow or misaligned, like you were witnessing life from a slightly higher altitude, able to sense things others couldn't. You may have brushed it off as overthinking, or doubted your perceptions, but something inside never let you fully abandon what you were feeling. That's because it wasn't imagination. The spiritual signals you've been picking up were real, placed specifically in your path to alert, awaken, and prepare you. This connection to unseen realms is not common, and it's not a burden, it's a mark, a divine fingerprint. You weren't just sensitive for no reason. You were chosen to be aware before the world even knew there was something to prepare for. The signs may have come in quiet wave streams that felt more like visions. Repeated numbers, divine timing, people entering and exiting your life like puzzle pieces, being moved by unseen hands. You may have experienced emotional highs and devastating lows, all within a span of time that seemed too intense to be coincidental. That emotional and spiritual turbulence wasn't random. It was part of the refining process, a stretching of your soul so that it could contain the depth of truth and insight that others were not yet ready to receive. You were being fine-tuned by a higher frequency, and the signals were always there. You didn't miss them. You were built to receive them. Perhaps you noticed nature responding to your presence, birds flying unusually close, the wind picking up when you spoke your truth out loud, animals lingering around you longer than normal. Or maybe it came through in conversations when people unknowingly confirmed something you'd only said in prayer, or when lyrics in a song felt like coded messages written just for you. This kind of spiritual pattern recognition is not mere coincidence. It is heaven's subtle but persistent language. The realm beyond this one has always been trying to reach you, to confirm your role in what's coming. And now the volume of those messages is increasing. You're not crazy. You're connected. Even the loneliness you've experienced served a purpose. Many chosen ones go through extended periods of isolation, not because they are unloved or unwanted, but because their connection with the divine requires space, pace to feel, to hear, to download messages that would be drowned out by the noise, of the crowd. That loneliness was a sacred container for growth. You weren't being punished. You were being pulled apart from the chaos so you could hear what heaven was whispering. Those spiritual downloads often came in silence, and your ability to sit in that stillness is what made you capable of receiving them. That's not weakness, that's spiritual strength. Your instincts were sharper than those around you, and at times it made you doubt yourself. You sensed danger in situations that seemed safe to others. You picked up on dishonesty, spiritual imbalances, and energetic shifts that others didn't even notice. You might have even tried to suppress this gift because it felt like a curse. But now you're beginning to understand this was never meant to isolate you in fear. It was meant to equip you for clarity. You were given the eyes to see and the ears to hear before the veil lifts for the rest. And now that veil is thinning. You are being prepared to lead, not to follow. That's why the world never made full sense to you. That's why you couldn't comfortably settle into things that others considered normal or acceptable. Your soul was being attuned to something higher, a reality that operates on divine timing and purpose. Every nudge you felt, every warning, every pull toward something greater, it's all been preparing you for the moment when heaven would begin to move visibly. And that movement has begun. The interruption you've been sensing is no longer far off, sits at the doorstep of reality, ready to make what you felt internally begin to show externally. You were always meant to sense it first, just like a prophet before a storm, just like a shepherd before a battle, just like a seer in the wilderness. Your gift was to feel what hadn't yet formed in the physical. You weren't early, you were appointed. The dissonance you felt when trying to explain your inner knowing to people who didn't understand was never your failure, was confirmation that you were tapped into something beyond their reach. And now the world is catching up to what your spirit already knew. The confusion is giving way to clarity. The fear is making room for revelation. The weight is shifting into confirmation. So many times you've doubted yourself, wondering why you seem to carry a burden that others don't, why your emotions are so intense, why your spirit aches for truth and justice in a way that others can easily ignore. It's because you are wired to respond to divine signals, to feel the tremors of heaven before they shake the earth. You are made to perceive subtle signs before they manifest into massive shifts. And the truth is, those signals were not just for your benefit. They were given to you so that you could prepare others. You're not just a receiver, you're a transmitter. Your gift is awakening. Your inner knowing is turning into outer evidence. What you've been sensing is real, and what's coming will confirm it all when heaven decides to move. It doesn't ask for permission from the systems of man, and it rarely gives warnings in ways that the majority can recognize. But the chosen ones feel it first, before the shift manifests, before the rest of the world catches even a glimpse of what's coming. The chosen begin to experience the divine disruption internally. This is not just a spiritual awakening. It's a prelude to divine intervention. The patterns of your life have already been adjusted for what is about to unfold. The discomfort, the disorientation, the breaking away from old routines and connections, all of it has been orchestrated to prepare you for elevation. This intervention won't be subtle. It will disrupt the ordinary in ways that no one can ignore. And those who have been attuned to the frequency of heaven will be the first to rise into alignment with it. You've already noticed the breakdown of systems and illusions that once held the world together. You've seen through the masks, recognized the empty pursuits, and felt the weight of truth that most people still deny. That clarity was not accidental. You've been positioned on the edge of what's real and what's yet to be revealed, because your spirit was made to function at that intersection. When heaven interrupts earth, it doesn't just shake physical foundations, recalibrates destinies, exposes lies, and awakens those who have been asleep. But the chosen ones don't need to be shaken in order to awaken. They've already been living with the anticipation, walking a path lit by inner wisdom long before external confirmation arrives. What may look like chaos to others will look like divine movement to you, because your spiritual eyes are open and your inner compass has already shifted toward a new direction. This isn't the kind of intervention that leaves things the same. It's the kind that strips away everything inauthentic, revealing the raw and powerful truth underneath. And those who are prepared will not just survive the shift, they will lead others through it. That's why you were called. That's why you've been tested, refined, and sometimes even broken, so that when the moment came, you would not be overwhelmed by the storm, but stand firmly in the eye of it, grounded by divine purpose. The elevation that comes with this interruption won't follow the rules of worldly promotion. It won't be based on popularity, credentials, or how long you've played the game. It will be based on alignment, spiritual alignment, heart alignment, truth alignment. Those who have stayed faithful to the unseen, those who chose obedience over convenience, who listened to the whispers of truth when everyone else was chasing noise. These are the ones who will be elevated. The chosen ones will find that what was once a source of rejection will now become a source of revelation. The very traits that made you misunderstood are now the markers of your divine appointment. The light you carried silently will now begin to shine visibly. People will begin to notice the difference in your presence, not because you've changed, but because the time has come for the world to recognize what heaven has always known about you. Your words will carry more weight. Your silence will be more powerful. Your spirit will begin to draw people who are hungry for truth. And your influence will increase, not because you've demanded attention, but because heaven has endorsed your assignment. The energy around you will shift. Doors that remain sealed will open with divine ease. Opportunities will come that you didn't chase. Connections will be made that you didn't manipulate. This is what alignment looks like. It is not forced. Closed dot. There will be those who question it, who wonder how you've risen so quickly, who try to rationalize your transformation. They won't understand that this wasn't sudden. This was years in the making, a journey of silent sacrifice, hidden pre-obedience, private battles, and unshakable faith. You weren't trying to become anything. You were simply becoming who you always were. The divine interruption will only reveal what was already true in spirit. And when heaven confirms what you've carried, no opinion, no opposition, no man-made limitation will be able to stop what's unfolding. The anointing will speak louder than accusation. The fruit will speak louder than doubt. The evidence will speak for itself. This is not about perfection, it's about purity of purpose. Chosen ones were never called to be flawless. They were called to be faithful.